What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. Tekashi 6ix9ine. Did Tekashi 6ix9ine get whacked? Last night, I was live on two different platforms, right? Here and another platform, and that comment was coming up. Hey, what happened to Tekashi? Did you guys hear? Did you hear? Did you hear? And I'm gonna keep it real. I don't give a damn about Tekashi 6ix9ine. And I think the majority of us don't, right? But we remember. Let's go back to when he first started coming around, right? We first heard of Tekashi 6ix9ine. He was running around with these Treyway guys. Treyway. He was on fire, right? And I remember doing a video on him. I was in the shop. Excuse me. And I remember saying to myself, these dudes are foolish for having him around. It's obvious to anybody who's ever been around street cats, there's nothing street about Tekashi. He's a kid that they let him play dress up, and then he got famous, and then they kept him around because he was the bag. But I always knew, as soon as some real pressure is applied, he's going to crack. He's going to fold. And that money ain't worth it. Me being from Santa Barbara, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, I remember growing up. I remember in the 80s, we'd be in the neighborhood or we would go somewhere and we'd be partying. And these people would show up. There was a couple dudes I remember back then. They would show up. They weren't Mexican. One of them, matter of fact, one of them was. They weren't from the neighborhood. Didn't live in the neighborhood. But they were infatuated with the neighborhood. And so they would show up in the neighborhood and they would show up at certain parties we'd be at. Because the homies would call, hey, Holmes, we're going to be over here. Hey, come through. And every time one of them showed up and I was there, I used to tell them, get out of here. And the homies would get mad at me. And I would tell them, no. Get the fuck out of here. And the homies would invite them and have them around because they came from money. They had money. So the homies would be like, man, these vatos are going to buy us whatever we want. This and that. I was like, what are we, women? The fuck you mean they're going to buy us this and this and that? These vatos are not from here. If something jumps off right now, who the hell you think's going to tell? Them. That's Tekashi. That's who I saw in Tekashi 6ix9ine. So he ran around with all these dudes and, you know, he was pretending to be a blood and pretending to be from Treyway, and they let him pretend for money. Same thing as like growing up in the 1980s. And like I said, the homies were trying to let certain motherfuckers around because they had money. And me, I'm like, man, we're about to get in. We could get into some shit anytime. So I already said that part. Now, things got funny for Tekashi. And he rolled like Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder saw it coming. He rolled on his people. Got them all nice chunks of time. And since that time, he's been running around everywhere. And there's been a lot of people, you know, like, damn, that dude just does whatever he wants, right? So then this pops up out of nowhere. Tekashi 6ix9ine stabbed 31 times in a federal holding or whatever, right? I was like, there's no way. Looked it up, and it was a lie. Tekashi 6ix9ine wasn't hit. Will something happen to Tekashi? Yes. Sooner or later, yes. He does too many interviews and he talks way too big. Sooner or later, he's going to get set up or caught slipping. Had Tekashi sailed off into the sunset, continue to make music, but don't act like he's a tough guy, then the tough guys wouldn't pay attention because they know he's not built like that. But I just saw an interview with him, like 2 weeks ago. And they were questioning him about his usage, his overly familiar use of the N-word. And he said, who's going to stop me from using that word? I've talked about how when I see raza use that word, I don't like it. I'm from a generation where that didn't happen, right? But I've also always spoken of NYA, California Youth Authority, as well as in California Department of Corrections. I've been around black men who didn't use that word and didn't like their own using that word, didn't like anyone using that word. And it's going to be a guy like that that is going to have an issue with Tekashi 6ix9ine. And there's other things that he said, you know, when his mother's home was broken into. He did the tough guy thing. And, you know, when supposedly some people were trying to get him at his pad, he always comes back with the pretend tough guy stuff. It's a bad look. Like, I don't even know. They say he's broke now. I don't think he's broke. I don't think people understand, you know, when you have money and you file for bankruptcy, you're still gonna have money. And because there are people so into what's going to happen to him, if something's going to happen, whether it is or it isn't, either way, people tune in. If he puts out a song, somebody's going to fucking get the streams. Somebody's going to watch. Somebody's going to click. Somebody's going to like. Tekashi 6ix9ine is going to become an old man. I do think he's going to get touched. I don't think he's going to lose his life. I think he's going to get touched at some point. But, you know, and this is just, you know, off topic a little bit. It's still about Tekashi, but all these dudes that get these face tattoos, like Tekashi, quack-ass tattoos, too. I think they forget that at some point they're going to be old men. They're going to have grandkids. And the grandkids' friends are going to be like, hey, why your grandpa got all the tattoos on his face? Old ass man. And you're going to be mad. You're going to be mad that your grandpa looks like that. So Tekashi, at some point, will be an old wrinkled man with a gang of face tattoos. And probably still have rainbow hair. Fucking idiot. Anyways, that's my video for the day, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.